Today's review, I'll be talking about In the Bedroom. This is, I believe, Todd Field's directorial debut. He's definitely stood out as a unique filmmaker, though he doesn't make too many movies consistently, not like, once every, 2 years or so. But once in a while, he's also directed Little Children, which is also a really great movie. This is a great movie. This was nominated for 5 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. Didn't win a single one, but that's how it goes, I guess. But definitely one of the talked about things of this movie was that a comeback for Sissy Spacek, who, by her own right, is an actress who, maybe under different circumstances, would be someone like Meryl Streep, be like nominated for like every single thing. But this was kind of her comeback, and a lot of people. This was a highly, praised performance from her, but also really, at least for me, this was a revelation of Tom Wilkinson, who I didn't really know much about before seeing this movie. I know he was in some other movies, but I don't think I saw them or just didn't kind of point him out. In fact, I didn't even know until I saw an interview with him after seeing this movie. I didn't even know he was. I think he's Australian. But he pulls off the New England thing pretty well. Also, an earlier role of Nick Stahl, future John Connor here, and also kind of a comeback for Marissa Tomei, who one of the most notorious things in Oscar history was, if you remember or have heard about, read about, whatever. She won the Oscar for My Cousin Vinny. Kind of the controversy there was they thought Jack Palance, who moments before was on the stage doing sit-ups, read out her name for the winner of Best Supporting Actress. They thought maybe he had lost his mind, had a crush on her, and whatever. Once they say the name, they have to come out. But anyway, there's for years debates over whether or not she really deserved it. I think consistently she's been proving herself one of the great actresses still working. She was nominated for this, for Best Supporting Actress, and then later The Wrestler, also really great in Before the Devil Knows You're Dead. So fantastic actress, Marissa Tomei. But this is definitely a movie based around performances that give the story its weight. If the performances aren't good, this becomes trash. This becomes Lifetime. Whatever. If you like Lifetime movies, you like Lifetime movies, whatever. I'm not going to judge that. But anyway, this is brought to a whole different kind of level. A great film, I think. And there are things in this movie that occur that I would say, if you haven't seen this movie, I would say probably best not to watch this review, because I do go into it. I will be going into it, giving away what happens, because it happens basically in the middle of the movie. You think it's one story, then it becomes another. That's kind of what's clever about this movie too. What's kind of hinted at the beginning of the movie, it's Tom Wilkinson. He's bringing his son out to fish for lobster, or to catch lobster, and they're in the traps, and they call them the bedrooms. You have 2 male lobsters with the big female lobster who has all the eggs on her, the kids on her. That's no good. She's gonna, kill them, basically. So it's kind of hinting at, okay, so if you have two in the bedroom with a woman, especially with kids, that's a problem. So what this is, it's Nick Stahl. He's playing a young, about to go off to college, university, for architecture, who gets involved with an older woman, played by Marissa Tomei, who is separated, not quite divorced, from her husband, played by what's his name? William Mapother, who's Tom Cruise's cousin, actually. He's great in the movie, by the way. He's really aggressive and scary and perfect for this role. He's kind of wants her back. He's dangerous. She has the kids, and he's like, I want my family back. Things like that. So there's conflict there. So as the movie strings along, it's about the husband and wife, Sissy Spacek and Tom Wilkinson. They're like, what is our kid doing with this lady? I mean, he assures them it's kind of just a summer romance kind of thing. What do you think? I'm going to marry her, adopt their kids? Come on. I mean, there's an age difference there. So, at the same time, Sissy Spacek, the mother, she's very much against it, but trying in her own way not to be too overbearing, which she's constantly being nudged at, being accused of. Meanwhile, the father character, he's kind of in so many ways. Well, in very much, very literally, he's kind of encouraging it because he's kind of getting a vicarious thrill through his son, with this hot lady. He's making these little innuendos. They're in bed at night, talking over this situation. His wife says, his head should be in a book, not in her. He kind of grins, so to speak, stuff like that. And he kind of walks in during lunchtime in the house, and he kind of notices that they've been up to something. It's little grins like that, kind of this weird vicarious sexual thrill out of it. But the danger there is the ex-husband, who very much wants nothing to do, wants this kid to have nothing to do with his family. He wants his family back, and it escalates and escalates from there. He beats him up. He trashes the house. They're constantly trying to downplay it a little bit, until finally, tragically, he shoots and kills the Nick Stahl character, and that's where the movie kind of turns into this drama between the husband and wife. Because while it's setting out in one way where you think it is about this conflict between a young kid, old woman, summer winter romance, and the ex-husband kind of causing shit, that stops dead in its tracks like 40 minutes into the movie. It then becomes this very almost bitter conflict between husband and wife, where they realize that one, their whole life is revolved around their kid, which it's not a bad thing for parents to do that, but they realize they're stuck with each other, and that creates some very bitter conflict between the two, and passive aggression between the two, and then a very aggressive aggression between the two, where it all kind of boils down to that one big scene where they have the argument. It's show-stopping scene. Great, powerful acting from Tom Wilkinson and Sissy Spacek. That scene alone, it is kind of the anchor of the movie. And what it all kind of boils down to is, they see this guy, who's essentially gotten away with murder. Justice system failed them because no one actually witnessed him outright murdering the kid. He claims there was a struggle, it was an accident, things like that. He pretty much gets off scot-free, and it's, ultimately it involves Tom Wilkinson as the father sort of taking justice in his own hands and killing him. So that's where the movie eventually arises. But then we kind of find out that it's almost like a Lady Macbeth kind of thing, that it was the Sissy Spacek character that's had kind of inspired him to do it, kind of forced him into it. So it is about the marital conflict there, and these two characters who've discovered, now that they're stuck with each other, what kind of blame do they pass to each other? What kind of blame do they pass to themselves? How can they resolve this situation? It would never be the same, but maybe they think that killing this guy might bring some closure to it. We don't really know for sure, but kind of the end hints that they're not living happily ever after, which is a shame, and the ultimate tragedy in a movie full of tragedies. So I think it's a fantastic movie. The drama unfolds expertly. The scene with the murder, it is just heartbreaking, especially when Marissa Tomei, her scream. It's a scene that haunts you forever. I'm kind of getting chills just thinking about it. She's such a great actress. and the argument between Wilkinson and Sissy Spacek. Just a powerful scene. And I think the acting here is some of the best of maybe the last 20 years. Shame it didn't win any awards at all. A lot of people were kind of thinking that Sissy Spacek was gonna have that comeback and was gonna win another Oscar for it, but not so much. Tom Wilkinson probably didn't stand a chance between what was it, Russell Crowe, Denzel Washington. They were nominated that year, but it kind of getting that nomination, I think, paved the way for some later great roles. So many great movies that he's done since this one, in supporting roles, leading and otherwise. One of my favorites, Michael Clayton. He's so great in that. I want to review that movie at some point. But yeah, I guess the ultimate question that I always ask myself: should this deserve to win Best Picture? Maybe. I don't know. I think the movies that year, what was it? This, Moulin Rouge, Lord of the Rings, Beautiful Mind, Gosford Park. I don't think, at least not all of those movies necessarily reflected what were the best movies of that year. Some really great movies were. Ghost World, one of my favorite movies. Royal Tenenbaums, one of my favorite movies. Monsters Ball, which Halle Berry won for, that's fine. I don't know, maybe. It's hard to say. I mean, I really like The Beautiful Mind too, and Lord of the Rings, of course. I mean, I guess it's okay. No, Lord of the Rings is awesome. But yeah, it's hard to say. I think at least being nominated was great. So yeah, if you haven't seen the movie, I've spoiled it, but see it anyway. It's really good. Great acting, really, really careful and considerate direction from Todd Field, who makes these really great domestic dramas, which he would later explore to even further effect with little children. Also a great movie. So make a very depressing but interesting double bill to watch these two movies together. I think you can even buy DVDs with a double feature of them, actually. Now I think about it, maybe. I don't know. But anyway, that's my review. Comment, rate, subscribe, all that good stuff. Plenty more 31 Days of Oscar reviews to come. Until then, I'll see you later.